sensitive examination of the thyroids of 2,300 children. And they discovered that over 40% of them had cysts and nodules that were enlarged. But they said, don't panic. As a matter of fact, to prevent people from panicking and thinking of thyroid disease, they did not release the data to the individual people, to the 41% of children that were detected to have these. Those kids, if you were a part of that sample and you wanted to know whether you had enlarged thyroid nodules or growths, you had to go to a private doctor to be tested because the government has panicked. Because what are they going to do with those 47%? And this is just a part of the children that were exposed. It wasn't all the children that are exposed. If you catch thyroid cancer early, it's treatable and can be prevented. They're not catching it early. They're not even going to retest these children.
And perhaps it has a lot to do with TEPCO being unwilling to accept responsibility for this disaster. So they just basically are in denial of all these things happening.
It has to do with that, and it has to do with the government expenditures.
Yes,
they're asking people to move back to communities that I think, and many scientists, experts, doesn't matter what I think, many experts think are dangerous, that still have high radiation levels. But if they don't go back and they stay away from that danger, they will lose their compensation payments, which are not much, a few $1,000s a month. But then the government is running out of money to pay this. So if they tell the people, now you can go back and we no longer have to pay you compensation payments, they will save a lot of money. The Bank of Tokyo, or Tokyo's banks, are going to be busted.
And Japan is financially has been in dire straits for quite some time, and they're fighting in deflation, and the last that they need is even greater stress on their economy right now. I'm going to get two more questions in before I let you go. Are we literally on the verge of seeing Japan ceasing to exist as a nation?
150,000 of us now have signed a petition to the UN and to Japan to bring in international experts, delay the removal until we have double-checked everything.
During the first 4 days, researchers at the Japan Atomic Energy Agency collected new data on radiation detected near the plant. They analyzed how the radioactive materials were released into the air. Starting on the evening of March 15th, a massive amount of radioactive materials was released, seriously contaminating the immediate area. From the night of the 20th, radioactive contamination spread as far as the Kanto region, which includes Tokyo. The research found that 75% of the radioactive substances were released after March 15th. Previous surveys had focused on the first 4 days when the situation was deteriorating out of control. The government's investigation has not determined the cause of the massive release of radioactive substances following that period, and researchers also have no clear explanation.
We need to analyze thoroughly the mechanism of the massive leak for such a long period. First, we have to take precautions to prevent a recurrence. Then, we should come up with countermeasures against possible accidents.
The Fukushima disaster has been evaluated as the worst at level 7, on a par with the Chernobyl accident in 1986. More than 120,000 people are still forced to live in temporary shelters. 6 municipalities remain off limits due to high levels of contamination.